This week's edition of NBC News, I'm your host, DJ Carey with the sports. Let's start locally with the Philadelphia Phillies, who dropped their fifth straight game last night, falling at the hands of the Miami Marlins by a score of 5-2. Starting pitcher for the Phils, Joe Blanton, went 6 strong innings, surrendering 3 runs on 3 hits. With the loss, the Phillies are now 11 games back in their hunt for the NL East crown. Despite the struggles of the Major League team, the AAA affiliate Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs are sitting atop their division and are now going to benefit greatly from the services of Philly slugger Ryan Howard. Howard began a rehab stint with the team last night, going 0 for 2 from the plate in 5 innings. However, the Iron Pigs were able to pull off the victory over the Pawtucket Red Sox by a score of 2-1. With the win, they completed the sweep of the doubleheader after winning the early game by a score of 8-5. Howard will continue his stint with the team in a game tonight at 7 o'clock against the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees. Lastly, to the NBA, where the 2012 draft class is settling in nicely with their given destinations. However, NBA big man Dwight Howard is not so settled on playing for the Magic next year. He has once again requested a trade, despite not specifying exactly where he wanted to go. GM Rob Harrigan of the Orlando Magic has said Howard has requested to go to the Brooklyn Nets, where he will be paired with NBA All-Star point guard Deron Williams. This all after a year-long debacle where Howard requested to be traded week in and week out and even forced the firing of former coach Stan Van Gundy. Howard will look to be on the move again soon. That's all for sports. I'm your host, DJ Carey. Hi, welcome to NBC News. I'm DJ Carey.
And I'm Gianna Bellino.
So Gianna, the semester's almost over. Your first semester, how are finals treating you?
Not too bad. I only have 2, so I'm pretty lucky. How about you?
I got a few final papers and just 1 presentation, so lucking out as a senior a little bit, not too bad. But you want to tell us what's going on this week before finals start?
Sure.
Thanks, Mallory. As you all know, this past weekend was homecoming here at the Berg, and with homecoming always comes a full slate of games here on campus. To start the weekend's action, the field hockey team took on McDaniel Friday night under the lights. Despite the best efforts of junior goalie Kristen Dornenberg, who recorded her 300th career save in the game, the Lady Mules fell 3-0 to move them to 1-4 on the year. Their next game will be Friday at Johns Hopkins at 4 o'clock. The women's volleyball team was also in action Friday night and came away with a 3-0 sweep against McDaniel to record their first conference win this season. The victory moved them to 3-8 for the year, and they take the floor next against Johns Hopkins on Saturday. While results were mixed on Friday night, Saturday was filled with nothing but W's for the teams here on campus. Following a road victory against Franklin Marshall last week, the football team took on McDaniel at Scottywood Stadium on Saturday afternoon. And to say it was one to remember would be an understatement. Having trailed the Green Terror for 3 quarters, the Mules did the unthinkable and erased a 19-point fourth-quarter deficit to shock McDaniel 34-26. Junior quarterback Dan Deegan, who threw for 282 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day, sparked the late comeback for the Mules. Also, senior running back J.T. Merklinger scored 2 touchdowns for the 2nd week in a row. Senior linebacker Pat McDonough recorded 12 tackles, which is good for his 3rd double-digit tackle game of the season. Following the big comeback, Deegan was named Centennial Conference Player of the Week for his efforts. This week, the Mules will head to Baltimore to take on Johns Hopkins, which is shaping up to be one of the most critical games of the season for them. That game is at 2 o'clock, and as always, you can listen to it live on 91.7 WMUH or at muhlenberg.edu/WMUH. Shortly after the football team's big win, the nationally ranked men's soccer team took the field against the Green Terror. The Mules made short work of McDaniel with a 2-0 win, and Danny Way continued to impress by recording his 3rd goal this season. Also, sophomore Jacob Joseph added the exclamation point for the Mules, putting home a goal with just 11 seconds left to play. The win moves the Mules to 5-0 for the first time since 2005, and more importantly, puts them at 1-0 in conference. They take the pitch next against Johns Hopkins in Baltimore this Friday at 7. Lastly, in their 2nd night game in a row, the women's soccer team looked to keep Muhlenberg perfect on the day when they took on McDaniel as well. Senior Nicolette Miller stole the show by recording her 2nd hat trick of her illustrious career as the Lady Mules rolled 4-0. And as one Lady Mule was cementing her place in the history books, another, freshman Audrey Zamachow, continued to make noise by recording her 2nd goal of the season. The Lady Mules are now 4-2 on the year. They face Haverford this week and Johns Hopkins on Saturday. That's all for sports. Now to Adam with the weather.